Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. And today we're going to be taking a look at Moringa. I know a lot of you are really interested in its potential benefits, particularly for things like immunity and inflammation.
Yeah, it's certainly been gaining a lot of attention lately.
Right. So, to help us unpack all of this, we're going to be diving into this really interesting article I found titled Moringa, Immunity and Inflammation Benefits.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff. I mean, one of the first things that really jumped out at me was, well, they actually call Moringa the miracle tree.
I've heard that too. It's been used for centuries in traditional medicine all over the world.
Exactly. And now modern science is starting to validate some of those traditional uses. And one of the things that really caught my eye was just how nutrient packed this plant is.
Yeah, moringa is a true powerhouse of nutrition. We're talking about vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, the whole shebang.
Okay, so let's break down those nutrients a bit because, I mean, I was reading here that moringa has more vitamin C than an orange gram for gram.
That's right. It's an excellent source of vitamin C, which is, well, we all know how important that is for immune function.
Yeah, it's like our immune system's best friend. And then there's also zinc, which is, the article was saying, is vital for wound healing.
Absolutely. Zinc is essential for cell growth and repair, and it also plays a key role in supporting our immune defenses.
So it's like moringa is helping our bodies defend themselves from the inside out.
Exactly. It's providing those essential building blocks for a healthy immune system.
That's pretty amazing. And I can't forget about those antioxidants we were talking about. I mean, those are like little warriors fighting off those pesky free radicals, right?
It's a great way to put it. Free radicals can wreak havoc on our cells, but antioxidants are there to neutralize them and protect our bodies from damage.
So we've got this incredible combination of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants all working together to support our health. But the article also dives into some specifics about how moringa might actually boost white blood cell production.
Right, white blood cells are like the frontline soldiers of our immune system. They're the ones that directly attack and destroy harmful invaders.
Okay, so having more of those ready to fight is definitely a good thing. And some studies even suggest that moringa might have antibacterial and antiviral properties.
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting areas of research. There's some evidence that moringa extracts could help fight off certain bacteria like E. coli and even some viruses.
Wow, that's really impressive. But one thing I've been thinking about is gut health and how it's all connected to immunity.
Absolutely. You can't talk about immunity without talking about gut health. The gut is home to trillions of bacteria, many of which play a vital role in supporting our immune system.
Right, and the article mentioned that moringa is actually a good source of fiber.
Yes, and that fiber is like food for those beneficial bacteria in our gut. It helps them thrive and do their job of keeping us healthy.
So it's like moringa is supporting our immune system on multiple levels. It's providing the nutrients our bodies need to function properly. And it's also fostering a healthy gut environment where those beneficial bacteria can flourish.
Precisely. It's a holistic approach to immune support.
Now, I know you're also really interested in moringa's potential when it comes to inflammation.
Absolutely. And that's where things get even more fascinating. You see, chronic inflammation is like a simmering fire in the body. It can contribute to all sorts of health problems, from arthritis to heart disease.
Right. It's like our bodies are constantly on high alert.
And moringa has some unique properties that could help calm those inflammatory responses.
The article mentioned these compounds called isothiocyanates, flavonoids, and phenolic compounds. I have to admit, those went right over my head.
I don't blame you. Those are some pretty technical terms. But basically, they're all types of antioxidants that have been shown to reduce inflammation in the body.
Okay, so they're like specialized firefighters, each targeting different aspects of that inflammatory process.
Exactly. They work together to help cool things down and restore balance.
That makes a lot more sense. And then there was also something about cytokines. I'm not really sure what those are.
So cytokines are basically signaling molecules. They're like the communication system of our immune system. They tell different cells what to do, whether to ramp up the inflammatory response or to calm things down.
Got it. So moringa might actually help regulate those signals.
That's the idea. It could help promote a more balanced immune response so that inflammation doesn't spiral out of control.
So it's like moringa is helping our bodies communicate more effectively and manage inflammation in a smarter way.
Exactly. It's not just about suppressing inflammation altogether. It's about finding that delicate balance.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but I think it's time we shift gears a bit and talk about how someone could actually bring moringa into their life.
I agree. Knowing about these potential benefits is great, but actually experiencing them is what matters.
Right. So what are some practical ways to incorporate moringa into our daily routines?
Well, there are actually quite a few options. One of the most popular is moringa powder. It's incredibly versatile. You can add it to smoothies, soups, even sprinkle it on salads.
I've also heard of moringa tea. Is that a good way to enjoy its benefits?
Absolutely. Moringa tea is a delicious and a refreshing way to get your daily dose of nutrients.
Okay, cool. And I've also seen fresh moringa leaves at some health food stores. Can you eat those?
You certainly can. Fresh moringa leaves can be cooked and used, much like spinach. They're great in stir-fries, soups, or even smoothies.
Wow, so many options. It sounds like there's a way for everyone to enjoy moringa no matter their preferences.
Exactly. The key is to experiment and find what works best for you.
That's great advice. It's all about finding what you enjoy and making moringa a sustainable part of your life.
And remember, this article is just a starting point. There's a whole world of information out there about moringa.
Right. So we encourage you to do your own research and see what resonates with you.
And, as always, we'll be here to guide you through the latest findings and help you make sense of it all.
Okay, so before we move on, let's just quickly recap what we've learned so far. Moringa is this nutritional powerhouse packed with vitamins, minerals, and those powerful antioxidants.
And we've seen how those nutrients, along with other compounds in moringa, might play a role in supporting our immune system and tackling inflammation.
We talked about its potential antibacterial and antiviral properties, its ability to boost white blood cell production, and its positive impact on gut health.
And on the inflammation front, we explored how moringa might help reduce those markers of inflammation balance cytokine activity and potentially even alleviate symptoms of conditions like arthritis.
So far, it seems like moringa is living up to its miracle tree nickname.
It's certainly showing a lot of promise.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I think it's important to take a closer look at the research behind those claims.
I agree. Let's dive into some of those studies and see what the science has to say. You know, it's fascinating how moringa seems to bridge this gap between traditional wisdom and modern science.
I see what you mean. It's like this plant has been used for centuries in traditional medicine, and now scientific research is starting to catch up, like validating some of those long-held beliefs.
Exactly. It's like we're rediscovering the power of nature, but through the lens of modern science this time.
Right. And speaking of scientific studies, the article mentioned some interesting research on moringa's antibacterial properties.
Yes, there have been studies exploring moringa's effects on bacteria like E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus, those kinds that cause a variety of infections.
Yeah, those are not bacteria you want to mess with.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive that moringa extracts have shown like actual effectiveness against them in lab settings.
It definitely raises questions about moringa's potential, in addressing this growing problem of antibiotic resistance.
Oh, that's a good point. It makes you wonder if moringa could be part of the solution in fighting those superbugs that are becoming resistant to like conventional antibiotics.
It's definitely an area that needs more research. The early findings are really promising, though.
Okay, so we've talked about moringa's potential for immunity and for inflammation and even touched on its antibacterial properties. But we should say that while moringa shows a lot of promise, it's not like a magic bullet or anything.
Of course not.
Yeah.
We always need to be cautious about, making any big claims. And people should always talk to their doctor or healthcare provider for personalized advice.
Exactly. Moringa should be seen as like something that could complement a healthy lifestyle, not replace actual medical treatments.
Right. And it's important to remember that everyone's different. What works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to listen to your body and, work with a healthcare provider to figure out what's best for you.
Now, I want to change gears a little bit and bring up something that I think is often overlooked when we talk about superfoods.
Oh, I'm listening. What's that?
Sustainability and ethical sourcing. It's great to get excited about the health benefits of moringa, but it's also important to think about, where it's coming from and how it's produced.
That's a really good point. With the growing demand for moringa, we need to make sure that it's being cultivated sustainably and that it's actually benefiting local communities.
Exactly. We don't want to repeat the mistakes that were made with some other superfoods where, their popularity led to exploitation and environmental damage.
So how can we be more responsible consumers and make good choices about where our moringa comes from?
Look for certifications like fair trade or organic. They show that the farmers are using responsible practices and that workers are being treated fairly.
And doing a little research on the company or the brand that you're buying from is a smart move too.
Definitely transparency is key.
Oh.
Find companies that are open about their sourcing practices and that clearly care about sustainability.
It's like our responsibility as consumers goes beyond just the product itself. We have to think about the whole supply chain and how it affects people and the planet.
Yeah, got it.
Hmm.
It's about making sure that our purchasing decisions line up with our values.
I love that. It's like we're using our spending power to support positive change in the world.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to come back to what you were interested in at the beginning. Moringa's potential benefits for immunity and inflammation.
Yeah, let's bring it all together and summarize what we've learned.
We've seen that moringa has this amazing array of nutrients, including vitamins, minerals, and those powerful antioxidants that are all so important for overall health and well-being.
And we talked about how those nutrients, together with the other compounds in moringa, could play a role in strengthening the immune system and fighting inflammation.
We discussed its potential to be antibacterial and antiviral, its ability to increase white blood cell production, and its good effects on gut health, all of which are crucial for a strong immune system.
And when it comes to inflammation, we explored how moringa's anti-inflammatory compounds might lower those markers of inflammation, help balance cytokine production, and even potentially lessen symptoms of conditions like arthritis.
We also discussed how important sustainability and ethical sourcing are when it comes to choosing moringa products.
Right. So even though research is still ongoing, what we know so far suggests that moringa could be a valuable thing to add to a healthy lifestyle, especially for people looking to strengthen their immune system and manage inflammation.
But it's important to remember that moringa isn't a cure-all. It works best when it's part of a healthy lifestyle, which includes things like a balanced diet, regular exercise, and good ways to manage stress.
And of course, people should always talk to a healthcare professional before making any big changes to their diet or their health routine.
Now that we've talked about all that, I'm curious what part of moringa's potential benefits resonated most with you.
That's a good question. I think what really stood out to me was how versatile this plant is. It's like nature's Swiss Army knife, offering a huge range of potential health benefits.
I totally agree. It's amazing how this one plant can have such a big impact on so many different aspects of our well-being.
And it's not just about the science either. It's about the history, the cultural significance, and how it could empower communities through sustainable cultivation. There's so much to moringa that we don't even see at first.
Absolutely. It really shows the power of nature and how looking to natural solutions can help us understand ourselves and how everything is connected in a much deeper way.
I love that. It's like moringa is a doorway to a whole new way of thinking about health and well-being.
You said it perfectly.
Hmm.
This deep dive has been so rewarding. It's not just about gaining knowledge, it's about expanding our horizons and really understanding how interconnected everything is.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot today, but as always, there's so much more to explore.
That's true. The journey of learning never really ends.
So to our listeners, we want to encourage you to keep exploring moringa. Do your own research, try out different ways to use it, and see what works for you.
And as new information comes out, stay informed and keep an open mind.
The world of natural remedies is always changing. Who knows what amazing discoveries are waiting for us?
That's what's so exciting about it. There's always something new to learn.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of moringa. We hope this exploration has been informative and inspiring for you.
Until next time, stay curious and keep on diving deep.
It's interesting, isn't it, how we tend to separate things like, health, the environment, and social justice, but moringa seems to, connect them all.
That's a really insightful point. It emphasizes how intertwined those issues really are. You can't have true well-being without also thinking about the health of the planet and how the communities involved are doing. The ones who are actually cultivating these resources.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something important for our listeners to remember. When we're talking about something like moringa and its potential benefits, it's not just about our individual health.
Right. It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
We need to think about the whole picture. Like, where does it come from? How is it being produced? What kind of impact does it have on the environment and the people growing and harvesting it?
These are questions we should be asking about everything we consume, not just moringa.
I totally agree. We have to move away from just being consumers and be more conscious and responsible in our approach.
And I think that's where moringa's true power comes in. It's not just the nutrients or the potential health benefits, it's the chance to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
It's realizing how everything is connected and using that knowledge to make choices that support a healthier and more sustainable world.
That's beautifully said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into moringa.
We have. We covered so much today. From its nutritional makeup to its potential to boost immunity, fight inflammation, and even its role in promoting sustainability and ethical sourcing.
We explored the science, the history, the cultural importance, and how Moringa could empower communities all over the world.
But of course, this isn't the end. We want you to continue your own exploration of Moringa.
Do your research, find new ways to make it a part of your life, and most importantly, keep that curiosity alive.
And when new research comes out, stay informed and open-minded.
The world of natural remedies is always evolving. There could be incredible discoveries just around the corner.
That's the beauty of it. There's always more to learn.
And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the amazing world of Moringa. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
Until we meet again, keep exploring and keep diving deep.